Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Bruchim Habayim, welcome all of you, and Bruchim Hashivim, welcome back. Blessed are those of you who have returned for Kabbalat Shabbat this evening, and a belated Hanukkah Sameach, and also a belated Happy New Year. I wish you all the best in 2023 and beyond, of course. I'm Rabbi Bill Tepper. I'm a native of, and I presently reside in Toronto. But I also call Chattanooga, Tennessee, Winnipeg, Hamilton, Kingston, Ontario. I also call those places my home, as well as Cincinnati, Ohio, and Jerusalem and Edmonton, all places where I have lived and or worked and served communities as a rabbi or studied. So I'm very thankful to be here at Solel. Very thankful to Rabbi Pollack for reaching out to me to welcome Shabbat, to share Shabbat with you this evening and tomorrow. And I'm also here with Ronald Miller, who is our musical accompanist for tonight. And Ron, who has been here since before he even remembers. So family, and I'm very thankful to Ron for sharing the bema with me tonight. I'm very big on show and tell. You ask anyone who has been part of a class that I've taught of any age, and they will say, we love his show and tells. He always brings interesting things. So I'm just going to pass this around. This is a Tanakh. It's a Hebrew Bible. And in case you're wondering, gee, that's pretty small for a Hebrew Bible. It's very thin and it's very compact. But it is a Hebrew Bible. It's all in English, though. But it is the Hebrew Bible. But it's a Hebrew Bible that was especially printed and distributed for those in the armed services of the United States during World War II. And it's even got the stamp, if not the original signature, of President Franklin Roosevelt on the front page. So it's fragile, but I still like to share these things. Some things are just too important to stay on my shelves all the time. So I'll pass it around and I'll get it back at the end of the service.
How long have you had
In anticipation of our Nigun that Ron is going to share with us momentarily, this is from a book called The Grief Observed by C.S. Lewis. C.S. Lewis, more famously known for the Chronicles of Narnia and many books on faith and Christianity in particular, to set the tone for our service tonight. It was too perfect to last, so I'm tempted to say, of my marriage. But it can be meant in two ways. It can be grimly pessimistic, as if God no sooner saw two of his creatures happy than he stopped them. Oh, none of that here. As if he were like the hostess at a party who separates two guests the moment they show signs of having got into a real conversation. But it could also mean this, that is, this marriage has reached its proper perfection. Therefore, of course, it need not be prolonged. As if God said, good, You've mastered that exercise. I'm very pleased with it. And now you can go on to the next one. When you've learned to do mathematics and enjoy it so much, you won't be set to it any longer. Your teacher will move you on. On page 11 of our Siddur, Paths of Prayer, we read responsively in the middle of the page, there are those who sing the song in their own souls, and in their souls they find full spiritual satisfaction.
And there are those who sing the song of the people. They do not find the circle of their private souls wide enough, and so go beyond it, reaching to more powerful heights. And they unite themselves with the soul of the community of Israel, sing its songs, suffer with its sorrows, and are delighted by its hopes.
And there are those whose soul lifts beyond the limitations of Israel to sing the song of humankind. Their spirits expand to include the glory of the human image and its dreams.
And there are those who live beyond this level until they become one with all creation, and all creatures and all worlds. And with all of them they sing a song.
And there are those who rise together with the convergence of all these songs. All of them sing out, each gives meaning and life to the other, and this completeness is the song of holiness, the song of God, the song of Israel. Please turn now to page 189 and join Ron and one another in Shalom Aleichem. On page 20 and 21, Arlene Bartnick will honor us with the lighting of our Shabbat candles.
Please join me responsively at the top of page 21. This Shabbat sheds light upon us, light for the days to come. We have leisure by which to see the world with new and grateful eyes. We have time now to look inward, and now we are free to embrace family and friends, to make our lives simpler and more complete.
We think of our homes and those we love. When we call to mind the duties and affections of home, how greatly are all blessings enriched, all cares and sorrows softened.
May the hearts of parents and children always be turned to one another, that our homes may be sanctuaries of love and devotion. May we use this Shabbat to bring happiness to our family life and blessing to our people. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav
Would you like to honor us, please, on page 26, reading the text that begins from Psalm 63.
My God, I thirst for you, I yearn for you. You are like clouds of spring rain, bringing cool water to the parched and dusty desert of my soul.
In the sanctuary I feel the power and glory of your presence. My mouth fills with songs of praise. All my days I will bless you, for I trust you more than life.
I feel sated as with a royal feast. When I sing your praises, my heart dances.
Thank you. Thank you. And sir, would you honor us, please, at the top of page 27, the short text, the meaning of Shabbat, the top of 27.
The meaning of Shabbat. The meaning of Shabbat is to celebrate time rather than space. 6 days a week, we live under the tyranny of things of space. On Shabbat, we try to become attuned to the holiness in time. It is a day on which we are called upon to share in what is eternal in time, to turn from the results of creation to the mystery of creation, from the world of creation to the creation of the world.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Please turn to page 29 for Lecha Dodi. like to read for us, please, on page 34 in the English? How can I sing?
How can I sing of day and night when it is God who formed them?
How can I sing of heaven and earth when it is God who decreed them?
How can I sing of mountains and hills when it is God who planted them?
How can I sing of the mountains and deserts when it is God who got them?
And how can I sing of earth and its fullness when it is God who bade them be?
I shall sing to God who fashioned all and is beyond all. It is to God I shall sing.
We rise now on page 36 for the bathroom. We continue together in Hebrew on page, maybe see that, on page 36. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher b'olam ha'arim, b'chachma poteh hasharim, u'v'tibuna mishaneh itim, u'macharif et hazmanim, u'misadeh et hashochavim b'shmerotehem b'rakiyat yoshanah. Borayom galala, gola or mitnei chosha, v'chosha mitnei or, u'mavir yom u'meili laila, u'mavdil ben yom u'bein laila, Adonai Tzebaot Shemo. Achai hayam tamid yimrach aleinu la'olam va'el, Baruch atah Adonai hamari aravim. On page 37, would you like to read for us? And the text in the bottom half, God of all worlds, on page 37.
That's on page. God of all the worlds?
Yeah.
God of all the worlds, how insignificant we are in your sight, and how minute in your presence. You are creator of a universe so vast that the effort to conceive it overwhelms the mind. Our mightiest telescopes can but scan but a corner of it. The rays of light that reach us from distant galaxies began their journey long before we came to be. Counted from first creation, the earth we live in was born but yesterday, and we made our appearance on it only a moment ago.
When we consider your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and stars that you have established, what is humanity that you are mindful of us? What are we mortals that you consider us? Baruch atah Adonai, hamari aravim.
Page 38 at the top of the page is Ahavat Olam. on page 40 for the Shema. I spent many years serving as a rabbi, living and serving as a rabbi in the United States. And almost always when I attended an important community function, that particular function began with everyone reciting the Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag. And I've always thought of Vahavta, you shall love, that Ron just led us in. I've always thought of Vahavta as the Jewish Pledge of Allegiance. I'm hard-pressed to find any other text in Torah, in the Hebrew Bible, in any of our sacred texts that catches the essence of Judaism more so than Vahavta. We're on page 42. And would you like to read for us, please, the text that starts at the bottom of the page? I, Miriam.
I, Miriam, stand at the sea and turn to face the desert stretching endless and still.
My arms reach for the sky, and I want to sing the song rising inside me.
My mouth open, I stop. Where are the words? Where are the melody? In a moment of panic, my vision goes blank. Can I take a step without knowing a destination? Will I falter? Will I fall? Will the ground sink away from under me?
The song still unformed, how can I sing? To take the first step, to sing a new song, is to close one's eyes and dive into unknown waters. For a moment knowing nothing, risking all, but then to discover the waters are friendly, the ground is firm, and the song rises again.
And on page 44, please join Ron and one another again in Song of the Sea, Mi Chamocha. Page 44. Benema kifada Adonai et Yaakov, go'alo miyad chazak mimenu, baruch atah Adonai go'al Yisrael, as you redeemed Israel and saved us from arms stronger than our own. So may you redeem all those who are still oppressed and persecuted. We praise you, Eternal One, the Redeemer of Israel. Sir, whose glass of frames I've been admiring since you came in, would you please read for us the text at the top of page 45, the hidden light?
And God said, "Let there be light." The first light God made before the sun and the stars. God showed it to David, who burst into song. This was the light Moses saw on Sinai. At the creation, the universe from end to end was radiated light, but it was withdrawn. And now it is stored away for the righteous until all the world will be in harmony again, and all will be united in whole. But until this future world is established, this light, coming out of darkness and formed by the most secret, is hidden. Light is sown for the righteous. But if this light were to vanish, the world could not exist. Rather, every instant that Torah is studied and lived, God sends a slender ray from that hidden light to bring life to the world. Thus, the act of creation is renewed each day.
Thank you very much. Page 46 at the top of the page, please join me responsibly. Grant, O eternal God, that we may lie down in peace and raise us up, O Creator, to life renewed. Let over us the shelter of your peace, guide us with your good counsel, and for your name's sake be our help.
Shield us from danger and plague, keep us from war and famine and anguish, subdue our inclination to evil. O God, our guardian and helper, our gracious and merciful ruler, give us refuge in the shadow of your wings. O God, our coming and our going, that now and always we have life and peace.
We praise you, eternal God, whose shelter of peace is spread over us and over all your people, Israel. page 47. The God of our ancestors. Andrea, could you read that for us? The bottom of page 47.
Why do we say our God and the God of our ancestors? There are two sorts of believers. One for whom faith has been handed down from our ancestors. The other has arrived at faith through searching and contemplation.
In the first instance, faith cannot be shaken, no matter how many objections are raised to it. But there is a flaw in this. Faith is passed on from generation to generation as part of our tradition, and so it may have been learned without logical reasoning.
The advantage of the second is that faith is reached through its own power, through much searching and thinking. But this faith also has a flaw. It is possible to shake it by offering contrary evidence.
But the one who combines both kinds of faith is invulnerable. That is why we say our God, because of our searching, and the God of our ancestors, because of our tradition.
And I can't help but note that that text that Andrea just let us in by the Baal Shem Tov was the founder in the 18th century of the Hasidic movement in Judaism. And that's not uncommon for me to sprinkle my sermons or the Divrei Torah with citations from the Hasids. I'm not sure if I have one tonight or tomorrow, but there's something about the Hasidic sayings that really connect with me. Page 49, the top of the page, is Chatzi Kaddish and our praising of God. Yikadash v'yikadash shemei Rabba Oma divrach d'urteviyam lich malchuteh b'chayei chonu v'yomecha u'chayei lecha beit Yisrael Uvishmat harim v'imulu amen Yehei shemei Rabba Yitbarach, Vishabach, Vita, Vitramam, Vitnase, Vitada, Vitale, Vita, Shemei Tekucha, Baruchu, Elohim Kol Berchata V'Shivata, Tishbachata, We rise again on page 50 for the Amidah.
You guys have to help me out on this one. It's been a while.
Shimcha Kadosh, Ukdoshim B'chol Yom Ya'alu Chasar, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. You may be seated. Would you please read for us the text on page 52, days past, the bottom half of the page.
Days pass and the years vanish and we walk sightless among miracles. O God, fill our eyes with seeing and our mind with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like the softness of moonlight, illumines the darkness in which we walk.
Help us to see wherever we gaze that the bush burns unconsumed.
And we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it.
At the top of page 53, please join Ron and one another again in one of our favorite Shabbat songs and Kabbalat Shabbat, Erev Shabbat songs, in particular, Yismacho. Page 54, and Sir, would you like to lead us in the text, bottom half of page 54, out of the land of heaven?
Out of the land of heaven, down comes the warm Shabbat sun, into the spice box of earth. The Queen will make every Jew her beloved.
In a white silk coat, our rabbi dances up the street, wearing our lawns like a green prayer shawl, brandishing houses like silver flags.
Behind him dance his pupils, dancing not so high, and chanting the rabbi's prayer, but not so sweet.
He waits for him on the throne at the end of the street, but the Shabbat complete.
Down go his hands into the spice box of earth, and there he finds the fragrant sun for a wedding ring, and draws her wedding finger through.
And down on the green lawn, people call him Rabbi, and fill their mouths with good bread and its happy song.
Now, some of you may be aware that this text, by the way, by Leonard Cohen, is that at this very moment there is an outstanding exhibit on the life and work of Leonard Cohen at the Art Gallery of Ontario downtown on Dundas Street. I saw it last week. It's absolutely wonderful. I can't recommend it more highly. He's an amazing, amazing artist, Leonard Cohen, and it's a really, really beautifully put together show at the AGO. So hurry up and get that. We're on page 55 now, at the bottom of the page. And sir, would you like to lead? No? Okay. Sir, would you like to lead us in the text at the bottom of page 55, going over to page 56? Where has this week vanished?
Where has this week vanished? Is it lost forever? Will I ever recover anything from it? The joy of life, the unexpected victory, the realized hope, the task accomplished. Will I ever be able to banish the memory of pain, the sting of defeat, the heaviness of boredom? On this day, let me keep for a while what must drift away. On this day, let me be free of the burdens that must return. On this day, Shabbat abide. And now Shabbat has come. Can it help me to withdraw for a while from the fight of time? Can it contain the retreat of the hours and days from the grasp of rapid life? When all days abandon me, Shabbat abide. Let me learn to pause, if only for this day. Let me find peace on this day. Let me enter into a quiet wilderness day. On this day, Shabbat abide.
Thank you very, very much. We're on page 59 at this time, and at the bottom of page 59 we have the text Hodoah, which translates into thanksgiving or gratitude or appreciation. And this is a moment during services when I like to turn the floor over to all of you to share aloud, if you're comfortable, and briefly, something that you are thankful for, appreciate about, something that special that has transpired in your life last week or very recently that you're very grateful for. Just put your hand up so I know who's speaking.
I'd like to say how thankful I was over the break that all my family was in one place at one time and we all got to see each other, and now everybody's gone back to their school or their jobs. But it was really a nice opportunity for family to be together.
Thank you. Someone else? Yes, Joe?
I'm thankful that my aunt, who had a rough week medically, is coming through all of that, and things are looking up for her.
Okay. Sir?
Being here tonight.
Someone else? Don't be shy. Okay. Okay, sir?
I'm really grateful for my health, just in general, and the health of everyone that I know. It's been rough here for my grandmother, but she's getting better. I'm grateful for that too.
Okay, thank you all. I'm sure that if you really truly take a moment to reflect, there is something more than just one thing that you are all very, very thankful for in your lives. Page 61. At the bottom of the page, or near the bottom of the page, please join me. May it be your will, our God, and God of our ancestors, to remove all wars and bloodshed from our world, and rather to draw a great and wondrous peace into the world. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall there be war anymore. Rather, all people will come to know and understand the truth. That we have not come into the world for strife and war, hatred or jealousy, anger or bloodshed. We have come into this world to know you. May you be eternally blessed. Therefore, be merciful to us and fulfill for us what is written. I shall bestow peace upon the earth. You shall lie down untroubled by anyone. Let justice well out like water, and righteousness as a mighty stream. The whole earth shall be filled with knowledge of Adonai, as the water fills the sea. Page 62, we continue. Sir, could you lead us in the text, radiant as the world?
Radiant is the world soul, full of splendor and beauty, full of light.
Of souls given, of treasures of the Holy Spirit, of fountains of strength, of greatness and beauty.
Proudly I ascend toward the heights of the world soul that gives life to the universe.
Majestic vision, come in joy, come find peace, embrace the light, taste and see that God is good.
Why spend your substance on what does not nourish, and your labor on what cannot satisfy? Listen to me, and you will enjoy what is good, and find delight in what is truly precious.
Thank you very, very much. Page 63, at the top of the page, is our song and our blessing for peace. Shalom. Pause now for our own private moments of peace, of gratitude, and reflection. At the top of page 66 is our Tfilat Halev, a prayer of the heart. We'll say shalom.
Oh, say shalom, B'Shalom, Hallelujah, say shalom, Hallelujah.
our thoughts and our hearts now towards those of us in our congregational family and schoolmates, those in our workplaces, friends, neighbors, others who are in need of healing, comfort, consolation. And this evening, Solel turns his heart and spirit and thoughts to Lauren Davidson, Leah Holler, Harry Richter, Francis Hernick, Wilford Walker, Shirley Herman, Rick Valentine, Marlene Friedman, Jack Kudlatz, Suzanne Shears Simpson, Bernie McLennan, Harriet Lahman, Jill Rutch, Mr. Nicola Prioiti, Eliyahu Ben Yitzchak Vasara, Rebecca Barbell, Parker Chako, Philip Shepard, Carl Katz, Nicole Hansen, Raina Rowan, Gilan Noruzi, Madeline Kitson, Kathy Kitson, Dee Hickey, Lorraine DaCosta, Adele Zur, Al Lofsky, Evelyn Tyndall, Amanda Shank, Daniel Block, Jean Elizabeth Pitt, Shmuel Ben Devorah, Pauline Portnoy, Erwin Milgram, Karen Smith, Francis Van Thien, Devard Wasnick. And to these names we may add others who are in need of healing. As I gesture across our space, feel free to share their name aloud with us.
Steve Bauer.
Kelia Berger, Martin Grossman, Doreen Court.
Me.
Thank you all. On page 133 in our Siddur is the Mishabara, one who blesses those who are in need of healing. In the Talmud and tractate Shabbat, Rabbi Eliezer teaches his students, atone the day before you die. The students politely inquired as to how can one possibly know the day of one's death? To which Rabbi Eliezer gently responded, all the more reason to atone today in the event something happens tomorrow. And in the Mishnah's Pirkei Avot, best translated to English as the wisdom of our ancestors, Rabbi Hillel said, "Don't say, when I have leisure time, I will go and study, for perhaps you will never have that leisure time." It's been a rough week, a week that isn't truly over yet. For exemplars, heroes, role models, a week within which the words tomorrow and leisure time acquired very profound meaning. Damar Hamlin of the Buffalo Bills, an otherwise healthy 24-year-old professional football player, collapsed in mid-game with cardiac arrest and remains hospitalized and in serious condition. Actor Jeremy Renner, the face of Marvel films and other excellent cinematic projects during the past decade, was severely injured while navigating his snowplow and aiding a passing motorist. And Martina Navratilova, tennis legend and a trailblazer, if there ever was one, was diagnosed with cancer. All in one week. And of course, countless other persons whose names are not so well known, who arose in the morning intent on making their way to homemaking, appointments, schools, workplaces, or service to the community, but instead found themselves victims of random accidents, crime, or on the receiving end of a message from their physician regarding the diagnosis of a life-threatening disease. I myself, 2 years ago, was informed by an oncologist without the heads up of any noticeable symptoms that I was affected by a non-virulent form of leukemia. It was treatable, and today, thankfully, I am in remission. The experience, however, as you may well imagine, shook me up, as it did my wife and son, all the same. We see the world and all who inhabit it very differently now. The subject is that of fragility. As young, energetic, and healthy as we may feel, as much confidence as we may exude, as much optimism as we may imbue our lives and the lives of others, none of us can be absolutely sure that at the day's end we will be safely, securely, and with peace of mind and spirit and body settled in our homes, among our loved ones, and in anticipation of a restful night of sleep. None of us is guaranteed the avoidance of injury, illness, or, as in the actor Jeremy Renner's case, the danger brought on by a wayward motor vehicle. None of us knows with any measure of certainty how our lives will unfold today, let alone, as Rabbi Eliezer in the Talmud points out, with regards to atonement, what will happen tomorrow. As Jews, we possess abundant, to be honest, far more than we would wish upon ourselves or anyone else, experience with fragility. For millennia, we have been and continue to be a minority people within a vastly larger non-Jewish community. We know firsthand the agony of persecution, oppression, bigotry, and xenophobia, marginalization and ostracization. We have witnessed our paths to opportunity and employment and education overcome by roadblocks. We have felt the painful sting of the so-called neighborhood covenants. We have been confined to ghettos, compelled to engage in our faith surreptitiously, never knowing when our doors will be broken down by those determined to torment or even eradicate us. And to this day, here within our 21st century liberal, democratic, and seemingly progressive Western communities, none of us can ever be certain as to when an elected official, celebrity, colleague, schoolmate, or passing acquaintance will deliver a remark that betrays her or his sentiments as they pertain to the Jewish people. None of us knows whether, upon arriving at our synagogue to partake in worship, learning, or socialization, that we will encounter ugly words of hate defacing our building's walls. Interestingly, and at the same time, a key moment within what is arguably our most joyful of Jewish rituals, marriage ceremony, impels us to remember that fragility is part and parcel of our lives. I speak of when the groom, and once or twice in my experience, both marriage partners, will, at the culmination of the ceremony, crush a glass with his or her foot, signifying our recollection of the destruction of the temples in Jerusalem by Babylon and Rome, in addition to, and more significantly, the vulnerability of relationships, communities, and all of life. Sephora Price, a family therapist living in Israel, reflects on how, on an evening intended as a celebration of her and her spouse's marriage anniversary, the family found itself fleeing from home in their pajamas as wildfires threatened the safety of their community. She writes, "We are lucky to have survived our experience unscathed and to be able to return to normal life without catastrophic consequences." Excuse me. Yet for a moment, I glimpsed backstage behind the carefully designed and constructed scenery of our lives and was shocked to discover how fragile that scenery truly is. Whether we are asleep or awake, we are all vulnerable to these primal elements of fire and wind. The flame that burns so beautifully atop a Shabbat candle could destroy if it were allowed to burn uncontained. And Michael Springer, an instructor at the Jewish Theological Seminary in New York, cites Psalm 90, "Teach us to count each day that we may acquire a heart of wisdom," and to which she adds, "With an awareness of our mortality comes a heightened awareness that we must make choices about how we live, that our choices matter, and we need to reflect on our values." There's an urgency about living each day that keeps us on track or helps get us back on track. when we lose our way. All of the foregoing being understood, what then can you and I do today and each day to keep on track and to push back, however modestly, against the fragility that threatens to overwhelm us? Hold the door open for someone. Give up your seat on public transit to someone who needs it more than you. Offer assistance to someone who appears to be lost. Clear out those closets and drawers of items you no longer use, but can be of value to one to whom you will donate them. Remember to say please. Remember to say thank you. Remember to listen more and speak less. Respond to your emails, texts, and telephone calls right now. Study and discuss with a friend a Jewish text. Learn something new about Jewish history and the history of your country of residence. Follow the news. Don't be oblivious. Don't imagine that what unfolds at City Hall, Queen's Park, and Ottawa, and if I may add, Washington, D.C., does not affect you. And take a sincere and caring interest in the lives of others. Tonight is the first Shabbat of 2023. Going forward, do not allow fragility to define you. And do not allow fragility to hold you back from living lives, Jewish and otherwise, today and every day, of meaning and value. Can you hear us all? May it be God's will. We turn now to page 149, and we rise again for Elena.
Call upon Arlene Watnick to help us out with the Eleni runs.
Could you please read for us the text at the bottom of page 152, the eye that blinks?
Human beings do not live forever. We live less than the time it takes to blink an eye, if we measure our eyes against eternity. So it may be asked, what value is there to a human life? There is so much pain in the world. What does it mean to have to suffer so much if our lives are nothing more than a blink of an eye?
Long ago, the blink of an eye itself is nothing, but the eye that blinks, that is something. A strand of light is nothing, but the person who lives that strand is something. You can hold that tiny strand in beauty, so all of you is immeasurable, insignificant. You must feel like we need no time to give it much life.
Thank you very much. And I can't help but respond to the credit at the bottom of the page, that text written by Chaim Potok. And Chaim Potok was a very, very successful author and historian, American Jewish author, historian. And I'm not sure how many of you know, Chaim Potok was also an ordained rabbi. He was an ordained modern Orthodox rabbi at Yeshiva University in New York. And just by way of pointing out that sometimes rabbis choose specific paths even after they are ordained as rabbis. Shortly before ordination, Chaim Potok shared with a friend of his that he thought about becoming a congregational rabbi for 5 minutes. And he became a very successful editor, worked in publishing, and author, as we know, of so many prominent books. In anticipation of Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish, this evening, Solel remembers, for your sake, Rita Nair, mother of Erwin, Rachel Bernstein, the grandmother of Frank Kay, Stephanie Lustig, the aunt of Rita Grossman, Lillian Freeman, mother of Michael, grandmother of Cecile and the late Jacob, Herschel Beer, brother-in-law of Robin and Sharon, father of David, Naomi, grandfather of Evan, Moselle Abraham, the aunt of Robin Beer, Maria Grant, the mother of Jeanette Thur, grandmother of Daniel, Aaron, and Rachel, David Hernick, father-in-law of Francis, Morton Levy, the father of Sandra, Samuel Ellie Cohen, father-in-law of Barry Feynman, Leon Katz, the uncle of Marlene Tash, Hannah Purvitz Irving, the mother of Davida Irving Charlebois, Helen Goldenberg, mother of Carol Copeland and mother-in-law of Jeff Copeland, Morris Siegel, father of Penny Laskin, grandfather of Marcy and Jennifer Wernick, great-grandfather of Jeremy and Clara, Jack Stopper, grandfather of Ted Greenberg, Bela Greenberg concert, and more recent deaths, Rena Cohen Dvorkin, sister of Gary Dvorkin and Tish, sister-in-law of Francois Adrianoff, aunt of Joshua, Jeremy and Liza, mother of Rona, Harley, Susan and Jeffrey, the great aunt of Lilia and Ava, and Esther Wachenmarkt, mother of Toby Sanga and Raquel Lubarsky, who passed away this morning on January 6th. And more details to come are forthcoming following Shabbat. And to all these names, we may add those of others who are always in our hearts. They are our loved ones are always with us. We can still see their faces. We can still hear their voices. We can still feel their arms around us and our arms around them. As we rise as a congregational community on page 159 to Kaddish Atom, the mourner's Kaddish, and the praising of God. Yikadal v'yikadash me'rama v'yalma t'graf v'yutei v'yamikma'utei v'chadadon v'yomechon v'kayeh v'chalei t'Yisrael v'adalas ma'kaweh v'imru amen. Yehei shemei labam ha'orach ha'elot v'umei onai Yiparach v'shabbat v'yipar v'yipamam v'yipnaseh v'yitadah v'yitareh v'yitarah shemei v'kidshah v'yokhu Le'elah mikol v'chata v'shivata tishbachata v'nachamacha v'amiramba amar v'imru amen. Yehei shlomo rabba mishma v'chaim aleinu v'almo Yisrael v'imru amen. Osir shalom b'imramav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved, as we say together. Amen. You may be seated. Page 163, and John Luson will honor us tonight with Kiddush and sanctifying this moment.
We want to do the announcements first, Rabbi, or should we do that read first? Okay, thank you. V'hi Erev Boker, v'hi Erev Boker, Yom HaShishi. Now the whole universe, sky, earth, and all their array was completed. With the seventh day, God ended the work of creation and rested with all work completed. Then God blessed the seventh day and called it holy, for with this day God had completed the work of creation. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei b'ri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzah b'anu v'shabbat kodesh v'yaharo v'ratzon himchilanu zikaron l'maaseh b'reishit kihu yom tevilah l'yikrei kodesh zecher l'tziat Yisrael.
Andrew?
Shabbat Shalom all. Nice to be together. Thank you very much, Rabbi. It's a real pleasure and honor to spend the first Shabbat of 2023 together. Thank you. Want to thank our shamas, Jack Harper. Thank you very much, Jack. And we have a busy January starting at Solel. Want to remind you that tomorrow we'll be again together, Rabbi, tomorrow morning, and where's the next week? Here is the next week. I found it. So next week we're starting Tuesday, January 10. We're starting at 7 a.m. The morning minyans, and then in the evening we start Tuesday Bet Sefer. And also next Sunday, January 15, we start at 10 a.m. the Bet Sefer classes. And also we, after the classes, where's the women's? After the Bet Sefer classes at 12:30, we the women of Solel are preparing Jain Temple, and the busy bees at Women of Solel are preparing a beautiful afternoon for us. We're gonna make some egg rolls and some cookies, and we're gonna share some recipes from close to our hearts, and it's open to everyone. So hope to see you there. Also, Rabbi Eglander is starting his he's going to talk about the Arlene, help me. It's not here, but I want to talk about it.
I'm going to talk about the books of the Bible.
The books of that's it. Thank you, Arlene. And also something close to my heart. I think you have it in the Shamas. It's the JIAS, the Jewish Immigration Aid Services, need our help again to help newcomers from Ukraine or from Afghanistan to form the welcoming circle. If you remember, we did that in the summer and in the fall, and it was really, really helpful. We helped Lady Alexandra from Ukraine. So just if we can do that again, it would be amazing. Thank you very much. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you so much, Andrea, for your kind words and for sharing all of that important information with all of us. My thanks to all of you for the Ruach, the Spirit, that each of you brought to our worship experience this evening, and I'm looking forward to prolonging that somewhat when our service concludes right around the corner here for an oneg, moments of joy and refreshments, of course. And I'm very, very thankful to Ron Miller. As you can tell, we've been doing this together for years. You can catch our next gig tomorrow morning. And after that, we're taking it on the road. So, but if you want to join us as roadies,
or backup singers.
Well, thank you very much, Ron. Thank you. It's great. Our closing song, to be followed by priestly blessing. Our closing song is Shechayanu, and I'm not sure what page that's on, but we all know the words of the Shechayanu, don't we? everyone. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God bless you and take care of you. May God be kind and gracious to you. May God favor you and bring you peace. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.